Right, everybody, welcome to episode 1 of the very brand new podcast, A Little Bit About. So, my name's Nick Watts, and I've got a co-host with me. Hopefully, he's going to stick around for another few episodes at least. And his name is Mr. Ray Reynolds. Ray, say hello.
Hello.
And as it's the very first one, basically, I think we probably need to introduce ourselves. So, Ray, why don't you go first? Tell us a little bit about who you are.
All right. Hi, Nick. How you doing? Thanks for having me. A little bit about me. My name's Ray Reynolds.
Hey, stop. It sounds like you don't know me. Come on, tell the viewers the truth.
All right. So me and Nick have been best buds for 35 years, Nick.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, 35 years. So I moved up from Birmingham into Telford. I've got brothers, a mum and a dad. Work in Telford, believe it or not. I've got 2 kids, a wife, a house. Usual shit, really.
Cool, awesome. So my name's Nick Watts, and I live in Wolverhampton. Used to live in Telford with Ray, not with Ray, next to him, 2 doors down. And I've got a wife, I've got 3 kids and a dog. I run my own company, and that's pretty much it. That's my life. So anyway, right, episode 1, Ray.
Phantom Menace.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a Star Wars episode. Right, Sarah Jones, who's a friend of a friend, gave us a suggestion, and she suggested that we talk about names for our first podcast. I don't know whether that's torture or what, but that's what we're doing. So,
well, Sarah Jones sounds like a barrel of laughs. That's the topic she's picking.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah.
All right.
Right. Okay. So, what would we be without a name? Do our names define us or craft us or influence our personalities? Why do we even name pets? And how does a guy called Harry Potter feel about being cast into the shadow of an 11-year-old wizard? So let's find out a little bit about names. I've got one thing. I did a little bit of research, Ray.
Right. Okay.
Have you ever actually just sat down and thought what came before names? Like I always wondered, cavemen that obviously didn't have any speech capabilities because they've got to learn to talk sometime. But before they actually did learn to talk, they would have just gone ooh, ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, can you imagine 2 cavemen sitting there and they're by their campfires sharpening their spears or whatever, and they're talking or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
But when did that form into a name, or did it happen that way? Because you've got hieroglyphs from China, Egypt, and things like that, haven't you?
Yeah. I think you kind of got to consider population sizes as well. So, like, if there's a caveman, a cave woman, and cave kiddies, they're probably the only cave people in the surrounding area for a long time. So maybe they had different sounds for different names, and obviously as things get more heated and more cave people are getting it on, more kids are being born, it starts to get a bit confusing then, doesn't it? There's only so many noises you can make without a lot of people turning around and saying, "What, fucking me? You talking about me?" No, mate, no, not you. That one. So,
what do you think? What do you think Daddy Caveman called a saber-toothed tiger? Do you think it was and then do you think he called his kid
I reckon though. I think maybe that's where language has started. Maybe swearing is actually the root of all real beginnings of language. Like when you seen the saber-toothed tiger, maybe he was just compelled to just shout, "Fucking run!" Maybe that's where fucking shit comes from.
Well, I did a little bit of a look up. So there are some pottery shards and other artifacts that were uncovered in China, curious symbols that dated back from the dawn of Chinese writing between 6000 BC and
Hmm.
5000 BC, and they're called, I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong, Jihao symbols or something like that. They're not actually part of a written language, but more hieroglyphical, and they reckon that it was that way of, you remember when you used to write on your pencil case and your name so nobody nicked your
Yeah.
pencil case. Similar thing. They obviously wrote on their pottery their name, or in this case, a hieroglyph of some kind, a symbol.
Is it? That's a question as well. We go through life growing up, and you hear about Tutankhamun and Cleopatra and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, if they wrote in pictures, how the fuck do we know what their names were? Like how they were pronounced?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know that
Like,
is totally weird.
this is and then what they should do on the screen of the TV. This is the tomb of, and they just flash up a symbol, like Prince, formerly known as Prince, just a symbol. That's what they should do. I think it's all. That's just a made up name, Tutankhamun.
Sounds like some dodgy punk band.
Yeah.
But as I work, so okay, yeah, he's thinking about names. I started to think about this quite a lot. As a society, we change things faster than faster than some people can, whatever. But we change things, don't we?
Yeah.
We get bored stupidly quick with whatever it is. And why is it that the majority of us stick with our name when we know that you can change it? So I can't ever conceive that I would wake up one morning and say, I'm no longer going to be known as Nick, and from tomorrow you shall call me Roger Blue Moon. Why do you think people stick with their names? Because you can go on Deed Poll, and I half filled out the process whilst I was looking into this whole name thing, and it only costs 18 quid.
What, to change your name?
Yeah, and it's really easy. You just apply online. They send you the forms in the post, and then boom, done. They obviously
So
you've got. Go
you
on.
literally could just like set up a direct debit and change your name every month.
Yeah, well, I'm not condoning fraudulent activity, but yeah, it's really that simple. But you've got to go through the rigmarole of changing your bank account and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like that,
suppose.
which is a pain in the
I,
ass. But
I suppose that. Sorry. Go on.
we'll get better at podcasting, won't we?
Nope.
So yeah, why do you reckon people stick with their names?
I think that's quite an easy one, really. I think humans are a very fickle species, and I think the reason the whole thing about change and changing quick is the reason why we're such a successful species, and that is we've just got this insatiable curiosity about everything. We've got to figure everything out. We have to figure it all out, and that's why science has become what it is and how we discover things. Because as a species, we just need to work shit out, and we like convenience as well. We're very impatient, want convenience, and that's where the whole speed comes from. Improving processes, improving things to be faster. Everything like today, right? Look at the technology that we're using. I'm speaking to you literally through plastic, using electricity, and I can have video to see you. You're recording this, and this is going to go out to people, hopefully. And yet I'm complaining about it because it wasn't moving fast enough for me.
Yeah.
And it's that insatiable need of having to make things faster and be convenient. And I think that convenience part is what links into. Oh, another thing as well is with humans is that we have an insatiable need to own things and claim that it's ours. Like we own our own homes, we own our cars, we own our wives. She's mine, he's mine, that's my son, that's my daughter. So it's like that fear of losing stuff. I think that's what that's linked into. And so your name is your identity. And so to change it each time would be A, you're losing your identity, and B, fucking inconvenient, man. Changing your bank account every week.
Yeah, obviously. But then again, if you look at the flip side of that, there are certain people, for whatever reason, who are going to try and brainstorm a few of those people that actually do need to change their name, or they have a valid reason to do it. Marriage is obviously an obvious one. If you get divorced or whatever, people will tend to change their last name to suit that. But I was reading that people who either have gotten divorced, they've gone on and changed their surname from Smith to Wilson, and then just decided to change their first name as well whilst they're at it.
Yeah,
But then again, there's
2-for-1 offer at the office.
Yeah, and there's those people that have a horrifically bad name because their parents were idiots, or inspired by a particular movement that was happening at the time.
Do you ever wonder why, like, famous people call their children ridiculous names? Like, do you think there's like a thing that goes around between them, or there's this whole kind of unseen, unwritten type of competition, or this trend that they have to just have something so obscure because it's like, I don't know, artistic, or they think it's going to. And this links into you saying, does a name define who you are and what your character is? Because I sometimes wonder whether if they call their kids ridiculous names, they're not going to be normal. They're going to be special.
Yeah, well, I mean, off the top of my head, the one that is probably most known is Apple.
Apple, yeah.
It was Gwyneth Paltrow, wasn't it? But
and Chris Martin.
David,
so, what do you think they're hoping with Apple? What do you think Apple was going to hoping? Do you think they were sort of zesty and full of life, sweet-natured?
Yeah, well, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, that one's probably one of the. I mean, it's not that horrific, is it?
No. Well, what about Ed Sheeran's new child?
I can't remember what it is, but that was one of the names that I saw whilst I was researching.
Antarctica. Oh, that's the middle name. I mean, what you're hoping your kid's going to be? Fucking empty and cold.
That's exactly what I was going to say. But again, recently there was Elon Musk. I'm pretty sure that his child was what was it, binary code or something? Until
Jesus Christ. I mean, come on, he sounds like a product from fucking Body Shop anyway, doesn't he?
Yeah.
His kids ain't going to stand a chance.
I think with celebrities that name these children,
it's abuse. It's abuse. That
it's kind of been dragged into their brand, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, imagine going to school and your name's Apple. It doesn't matter if you're in private school or state school. You're going to get bullied with a name like that.
Yeah, definitely. There's also, though, people, especially more, in more recent years, you might get people that are going through a gender transition that need to change their name.
That was very, very politically correct.
Well, yeah. I mean, we've got to be, haven't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Now, that's an interesting one, really. Is like, there's one thing having your name picked for you, because you get your name picked, don't you? And that's who you are. You grow up, and that's, even if you've got a stupid name, you don't think your name's stupid, unless, of course, you're called, like, I don't know, Turd or something like that. But you kind of like left with your name, and you grow up thinking, my name's fucking great, best name in the world. Strong name, Raymond, for example. And then, like, you think, okay, so you've got some guy. Let's use a guy turn into a lady, and then they've got the world at their feet in terms of they've got to choose a name for themselves. They're going to go into being a woman for the rest of their life, and they want society to understand. And I've got no problem with it at all. More power to them. But then they choose names like fucking Wendy, Pauline. Like, come on, you could have had a much better name than that. Or they use their name and just put "et" on the end of it.
Do you think? I'm guessing you've got an opinion on this, but if I don't want to make light of it all, because it is obviously a serious.
Of course it is, yeah, and that's about the names, not about the
No,
the
of course
topic.
not.
So before I get really famous off this podcast and I get called transphobic, I'm not transphobic.
No. Yeah. So
We talk about racism.
That's obviously another reason why people change their name is through
Yeah.
gender transitioning. But I think I also read that a lot of people get confidence issues with their name, whether it's because the name sounds too childish or not. Also, here's an interesting one. People have had to change their name by default because their birth certificate, their name is spelt wrong.
Okay.
And my brother.
Which one?
Whose name is Damien. And
yeah,
he hasn't changed his name by default, but on his certificate it is spelt wrong, and technically he should be known as Domain.
Domain?
Instead of Damien. And,
so Damain, Domain. That sounds like someone who's just transitioned.
So on the reason why his name's spelt wrong on the birth certificate is because my dad was pissed when he went to the registry office. And that feels like an episode out of The Simpsons.
Yeah, definitely.
Homer Simpson might do something like that.
Domain.
Yeah.
Domain what?
But did you know though, that there are some names that are illegal?
There is that. Yeah.
By law, you are not allowed to call. And we're actually in the UK, which is where we're based, listeners, in case you didn't realise. Obviously, we sound horribly like Hugh Grant, don't we?
Yeah.
So in the UK, anyway, but we're quite lucky that we can pretty much call our kids anything we want. In other countries, they're quite strict. So in the UK, there are some of the names that are illegal, and you would not be allowed to call your child. Number one,
in the UK.
Yeah, in the UK.
Interesting.
Right. Number one, Martian.
What?
You can't call your child Martian. Number two, you can't call your child Monkey.
That's ridiculous. But I can call it Apple.
Number three, Chow Tao.
That's not even the name. Fucking hell.
No, you can't. You can't call your child Chow Tao. I'm not even sure whether that would be for a boy or a girl. But
what is Chow Tao?
It translates into smelly head.
In what language?
I don't know. I never wrote that part down. This is a random one though. You're not allowed to call your child Rogue in this country.
I'm pretty sure I've got a friend of a friend of a friend whose child's called Rogue.
Right, well, I'm calling the coppers. No, apparently not. And number 5 on the list, you're not allowed to call your child Akuma because in Japanese it means devil.
Well, that's ridiculous. That's not our fault. That is not our fault. That's someone else's language means something else in our language. That's like having a baby and thinking, right, you know what? I don't want a name that's ever been used in my life. And you painstakingly with your missus think of a name. What should we call this beautiful girl? I'm going to call my beautiful girl, I don't know, Belasional. Yeah, Belasional. All right, let's go down to the registry office. Tootle down the registry office, all happy that you found this brand new name. You're going to pioneer this new name. Sorry, love, you can't have that. Why not? Because in Eastern Argentina, that means...
Oh my God, that's getting edited out. Right. Vulgar, this is quite apt. Vulgar, offensive or blasphemous names are not necessarily illegal. However, HMS Passport Office will not accept names of this sort. So names that probably fall into that category. Religious connotations. So you can't call yourself Jesus Christ, but you can call yourself Jesus.
Yeah, because it's a genuine name in other countries, like Jesus.
Yeah, and it is. There's quite a lot of Premier League footballers called Jesus. Or Jesus, as you said. Taboo swear words, that's another one. Sexually explicit words.
Taboo swear words. So I can't call my next child vulva
No, probably not. And you wouldn't be able to call it Volvo after the car either, because you can't.
Copyright
You
names.
can't. Yeah, trademarks such as Coca-Cola or Asda
I know
will
lots of.
not be accepted.
We live in a town full of people that would, at any drop of the hat, call their kid Asda.
Totally would. But then again, in other countries, and rightly so, you can't call your child Osama bin Laden. You can't call them Adolf Hitler. And there's some surprise entries. So IKEA, obviously, for the trademark aspect, you can't call it, but I can imagine that one actually is quite popular.
Well, IKEA is not actually a name; it's an anagram
Is
of
it?
4 words. Yeah, yeah. I can't remember for the life of me what it is, but it's an anagram. You could call your kid anagram, anagram.
Go on, have a guess. What do you think IKEA is as an anagram?
Ah, well, it's a stupid guess because I knew what it was and now I forgot.
Maybe because they sell furniture. Maybe it's I know everything about furniture.
Hey, possibly, possibly.
The
guy who started it.
Mr. IKEA.
Yeah, it was an anagram. I can't remember now.
Right.
I'll have to Wikipedia it, and then I'll text you, let you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone who might be listening to this is dying to know.
There's another interesting one on the banned illegal list.
Okay.
You are not allowed to call your child Batman.
That's such a cool name to call your kid. But why single out Batman? So I can call my son Green Lantern or
Well, I'm sure there are.
Hawkeye.
Probably illegal. And finally, you are not allowed to call your child Stompy or Spinach.
Stop.
They actually sound like a set of twins.
I think this is quite discriminative against other objects because, like, you can't call your kid spinach. I want to call my kid spinach. No, you can't call my kid spinach. I want to call my kid spinach. You can't call your kid spinach. All right, tomato it is.
There's got to be a bit of a defence there, though, because of Apple.
Exactly.
It kind of listening to Apple and spinach, it kind of makes the name carrot sound quite cute.
Maybe that's why these celebrities are okay and comfortable with his names because they've painstakingly tried so much to make up names, and the registry office saying you can't say that because that means fuck. You can't say that because that means arse bandit in Afghanistan. All right. What kind of? It's just in the heat at the moment. Antarctica. Yeah, that's fine. You can have Antarctica. Crazy, mate. Absolutely crazy.
Okay. Whilst I was looking through this, about a couple of hours ago, I'd finished work and I thought, right, I'm going to have a look, see what kind of names are out there that really people shouldn't have called their children. And these are reasons why.
I bet Hitler's parents were regretting it.
These are reasons why somebody might want to change their name, but it transpires that somebody called their child Alucard.
Alucard.
Yeah, spelled Alucard. Okay, it sounds odd, but if you reverse that word, it actually spells out Dracula.
These parents, I just need to high five some of these parents.
There was another one who called their daughter Felony, but they'd spelt it Phelonny.
Oh, brilliant!
So, Felony, and there is another one, and there was a picture of this. Like you'd have the announcements in the newspaper.
Yeah,
and it would say so and so or parents welcome their newborn, and then they'd list the name.
Okay.
The parents delightfully welcomed in print their child into the world. It was a boy, and he was called. I hope this is seriously not true, and it was photoshopped. Charlie Willard Horse Dick.
Oh, Jesus. Horse dick. That can't even be their surnames. You can imagine what they were hoping he was going to grow up to be.
Oh, you're killing me.
Oh, Jesus
I think I've seen it on Pornhub.
If I was a parent reading that paper, and I'd be like, hang on a minute, they said I couldn't call my son fucking Chow Chow.
Oh, man, I hope Charlie's listening.
Oh, dear me. Oh.
And then the last one that I heard, somebody had called their child a daughter. Oh, man, this isn't going to be good. They'd called their daughter Vagina.
That's just a different way of saying vagina. Go on, love. Show us your vagina. Oh, Jesus Christ. Vagina.
So, I've actually had a lot of fun researching what I probably thought was going to be a dull topic. But Sarah, thanks, because I don't think I've cried so much with laughter in such a long time.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah.
Naming pets.
Quite a boring name, actually, when you think about it. After all
Sarah,
that.
yeah. But we do love all of the Sarahs that potentially are listening to this.
Yeah. True. Good people.
What about pets' names? You had dogs when you was little. What?
Yeah, we had dogs. I think you had pet names than I did. So it's strange, actually. I think there's a bit of a psychology behind naming your pets. Like, I think you can really kind of pick out the people that aren't quite the norm in society with the names of their pets. So, like, I grew up with dogs like called Sally, Tess, Glenn, Zoe. Just names that are kind of like are just meek and anyone can, it's just acceptable. But then I used to live near these couple who didn't have children, which I think is partly why. And there were these two little shitty fucking. Do you remember that dog? Interesting name, actually. Talking about Nick, talking about history. Rachel, that used to live on the end of your street. Her dog was called Java.
I don't remember that.
Do you remember Rachel? They said that little West Yorkshire Terrier thing. And it was called Java. It used to be shit scared of the thing. Java, its name was. What a strange, cool name. Anyway, they had these two people. They were quite old, and they had these two Yorkshire Terriers, and they were yapping away, and they were called Paul and Charlotte.
That does ring a bell.
Paul and Charlotte. I mean, what strange. I mean, we had dogs called Tess and Sally. It's a human name, but Paul and Charlotte. It's weird.
Yeah, I always kind of go down the avenue that if you're going to have a pet, you kind of give them something non-human.
Yeah.
So we've got a Cocker Spaniel, and when we got the dog, saying that, I wanted to call the dog Dr. Alan Grant out of Jurassic Park. But they didn't take too kindly to that, so it ended up being called
the dog.
No, he kind of liked it, but
you got to have a bit of foresight, because there's going to be a point where you're in public and the dog bolts and you've got to shout, "Dr. Alan Grant, Dr. Alan Grant," top of your voice.
I know, and that would have gone viral on YouTube. Just like, did you ever see that video of the guy who shouted his dog Fenton?
No. Yes.
The dog got loose and he was chasing a load of deer through a field.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's Fenton! Oh, Christ! Fenton!
Imagine his dog was called Dan. Dan!
So
Dan!
I think me chasing a Cocker Spaniel through a field or something, shouting Dr. Alan Grant,
Yeah. Interesting.
But no, the kids decided to call it Cookie.
Yeah, but I mean, you had a dog. You had a Cookie. That's a pretty cool name for a dog. Um, Alex Jones Alex James from Blur. His cat was called Bastard.
Yeah, I wonder how he got past that one.
Interesting name.
Presumably, then it's not illegal to call your dog or cat or pet anything that you want.
Actually, you've got a point there because you might have to beep this one out. Actually, Nick, because friends of mine have friends whose dog, believe it or not, is called Oy.
Really?
Really, without not fabricated. Oy, cunt. And at the vets, they went to the vets, and the vets was like asked for the names, like it's Oy, cunt. It's like, pardon. And the vet was like, "Have you got a shorter version of it?" And the guy was like, "Yeah." I don't know how people live sometimes, mate. I just don't have the conscience to do stuff like that.
Well, you've there was a friend of ours had a Warmarina.
A what? Oh, a Vinorama. Vinorama. Those like grey dogs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Vinorama, something like
they called it Fugly.
fucking ugly.
Yeah, yeah, quite interesting.
Bit mean, isn't it?
I know. But, I think
what people call their dogs.
Yeah, I think pet names most sort of when they're not when you've got a non-human name, the pet names tend to be spotty or something that represents the
dog, the look of the animal.
Yeah, it's.
Imagine if that's how we named animals. We literally looked at them and thought, right, I'm going to name you what you look like to me. So you'd be like, Labradors would be like, I don't know, happy, stupid, because they look stupid. Obviously, Dalmatians, Spot or Dot. And then like you'll have like, I don't know, British Bulldogs, miserable fucker.
Yeah, but what if they did that for humans? Somebody would look at me and I would be called Baldbeard.
Baldbeard, I'd just be called Blackie.
Listeners, for those of you that...
I'm my brother.
Yeah, listeners, for those of you that don't know us, I'm white, and Ray is... Ray, how do you want to classify yourself? We're going to do a whole episode on this.
But, on racism?
Yeah. So...
Well, it's just very interesting, actually, that we should link back to this conversation, actually, and why you found quite comfortable to say that you're white, and then asked me what I need to call myself. Very polite of you. But interesting psychology behind it.
Do you know what? I think from talking about it in public, from a white person's perspective, who clearly isn't racist, because I've been friends with you for however long, and I won't deny you do get a slight bit of anxiety that split second when you say, "Oh, he's black."
Yeah,
and
that's just down to you being a good person and respecting and acknowledging what goes on in the world and what does upset people. But it's going to be an interesting topic, that is, and I think you'd be quite shocked at my views on it, actually.
Well, I was trying to think. I don't think in all of the years that I've ever known you that I've never ever referred to you as mixed race. I've never referred to you as Afro-Anglo or
Afro-Anglo, yeah,
or whatever, or black. You've never been anything. You've never been brown, white, yellow. It doesn't matter. You've always just been Ray.
Yeah. And that's how it should be, isn't it? That's how our parents never made a thing of it, even in the 80s. Don't know, we never did. We were 5 when we met each other. Albeit you did kick me in the balls first time I met you, but I wasn't sure if that was racially
yeah,
racially motivated. Who knows? But yeah, I call myself black, I suppose. Mixed race. Brown.
We are from our parents. I mean, I was listening to a radio program the other day that said the following broadcast or play was recorded in 1974, and some of their opinions are now outdated.
I can imagine.
But so our parents' generation, obviously, they had outdated attitudes, and it's interesting. And I'm definitely looking forward to talking to you about that, because you've never ever, as far as I know, you've never experienced racism because you've never spoken about it. So that would be really.
I have.
But I think you're right. I'm going to leave it because it's such a you're such a unique. You've got a great story to tell because of your brothers.
Yeah. I think that's all part of it. Bit of luck and of the person I am now, and what I believe about people and how the world works.
Yeah.
I'm not the norm. Let's put it that way.
So I don't know. Should we make that our second episode?
May as well.
Yeah. Cool. Right. I'm going to finish off with this, I think.
Cool, man. Enjoyed it.
So, doing a bit more research on the name thing, I typed in how many people are named whatever, and the first, Google suggests queries.
Yeah.
So its first suggestion was how many people are named Gay Bowser.
Gay Bowser.
And it took me to a website called howmanyofme.com, which is an American website. I went onto this website and followed that Gay Bowser link, and there is one person in the USA apparently that has the name Gay Bowser. There's about
a woman.
I honestly couldn't say, but I'm sure Mario's not that pleased.
He was always on Mario Kart trying to come up Mario's rear, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he bumped him a lot.
Oh, Bowser.
Yeah. I think there was about 124 of me.
What, in the world?
Just in America.
That's that. I thought there'd be more than that.
Well, here's something else that's weird. And I would have forgotten this. And I'll leave you with this.
All right.
I went to university in Staffordshire.
Yeah.
I studied graphic design. And I grew up in Shropshire.
Yeah.
And I support Liverpool.
Yeah.
Right, remember those things.
Yeah.
At the very same time that I was at university in Staffordshire studying graphic design, coming from Shropshire and supporting Liverpool, there was another guy at the very same time who went to the same university. He comes from Shropshire and he also supports Liverpool. And he was doing electronic graphics as a course where I was doing graphic design. His name is Nick Watts.
No.
And we're friends on Facebook purely because of this this connection.
Share another name.
Yeah.
That is a bit weird.
And I never, ever once met him or bumped into him or had course notes put in my pigeonhole that were meant for him.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It is totally weird.
That's a better story than when I had a match name.
What was yours?
So I started a group on Facebook, people called Raymond Reynolds, just to see how many people would join. And the first one that joined was this young lad in England called Ray Reynolds. I was like, "Oh, how you doing?" Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, cool." I said, "So tell me a bit more about you, because it's just a bit of a project. I was, wanting to social project, see if we were like similar in any way." And he was like, "Yeah, I'm 20 odd this. I do this, and I really want to shag Shabazz from Big Brother." I was like, Shabazz was this dude on Big Brother as well. I was like, okay, end of group.
I mean, Shabazz.
it was a really long time ago, but it wasn't the fact that he was gay. It was the fact that that was the first thing he said to me. It's like, just creep me out, man. So you had a much better, more, not romantic, but much better, nicer story than I had with my namesakes. And there was this one Raymond Reynolds from America, big fat dude, wouldn't talk, just joined, didn't talk.
When did you set this group up?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, years ago, mate. Absolutely years ago. It may have even been before I had children, so over 14 years ago.
Because you don't do Facebook now, do you?
Nah, absolute bullshit.
Opinions on social media. I'm going to write that one down.
That's a topic. That'd be a nice, fast topic for you. So, Ray, your Facebook? Nope, shit. Nope, shit. TikTok?
Oh.
Fuck off.
Cracking. Right. I don't know. I don't even know what the running time has been, mate, but I'm going to leave it there. I reckon it's probably been
All right,
45 minutes. And yeah, so guys, girls, if you enjoyed that, subscribe, do whatever it is that you've got to do. I'm kind of making this up as I go along because this is the first podcast. Hopefully there's going to be a second one. And yeah, there definitely will be a second one because we're going to be touching on racism. That's going to be a good one. And
is this going to go on a Snapbook and Face Chat?
Yeah, all of those. Instafuck, whatever that one is. What's going on?
Brilliant.
Cool. All right. Well, boys and girls, stay cool, and we'll see you again soon.